Well, this is one of the most important portion of Torah. Is actually it's called Yitro, and we need to understand why actually the most important portion of Torah is named under actually someone who is coming from outside. Why it is not called Moses, or why it is not called when the Torah was given. It seems that first we have to look at the root of Yitro, and why actually when Moses is fleeing Egypt is actually going towards Midian or at all. If you look carefully into your Torah, into your Bible, you see that Midian is a son of Abraham, born out of Keturah, means that when Moses is fleeing Egypt, he's not fleeing only Egypt, he's fleeing as well the source of his brothers or the source of his family, meaning he's fleeing himself. He's running away from himself, from his roots, from his identity as Israel. And he's running, let's say, to a common but more ancient father, which is Abraham. So he's going to Midian, okay? And to Yitro, which actually present one of a high priest of the time. So it seems that is very much to do with sort of, one can say, Abrahamic interpretation without the three lines of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Yeah? So it's just the right side, and probably Yitro is actually presenting the left side of the right. Okay. So we can see that is a high priest of all spiritual systems of that era, is very well respected. And it is said that there were three personalities at that time, the time of Moses, that could actually be, or they were candidate for receiving or for giving Torah. One is Yitro. The other one is Job, or Eov, as we call him. And the third one is Bilam. Each one represents a different relationship. Bilam is the part of, one can say, the spiritual ceremony. And Job is to do with a human question concerning suffering and the personal relationship between a human and the Creator. And it was to do, we can see from his advice to Moses, is to do with, one can say, how spiritual system express itself in the order of society. So it's between us, or one can say between the self, the I, and the other, the plural other or the personal other. So it seems that the fact that Yitro is coming is actually to point out that there is something which is necessary for the witnessing of all nations, which is to do with the will to receive that has not yet complied or agreed to take upon itself the terms of bestowal. But when they come and they testify that actually Havaya, the power of being, the name or the power that is a true providence of all nature, we need a person that actually include in itself all three aspects of Job and Yitro and Bilam, and that is Moses. And that is as well by looking at the fact that Yitro is bringing actually the wife of Moses and his sons, but he's always also bringing with him the recognition of all spiritual systems that he was an expert in. Okay. So it seems that it speaks about something which is to do with the first awareness of the Creator in relation to humans, which is it's not good for the human to be alone. So definitely we cannot allow Moses or Israel to be alone when there is a very significant revelation which is to do with all human race. So it needs to be together. It needs to be together maybe in terms of joining your identity with the family of spirits, one can say, that you belong to, and the family of all spirits that has to be part of it. If he is not coming, Torah will not be given. Okay? So this is very important to see, and to see as well I hope you're reading the portion of Torah before we speak about it. Otherwise, it will be really difficult for you to even follow one sentence of what I'm saying. So this is a side remark. It's good that you will read it. Definitely, if you have the translation of Torah of King James, it's at least seems to be the closest and more adequate part. I'm going to bring my glasses. Okay. So it seems that it is the fact of giving Torah or the revelation. This is what it needs. It needs sort of a witness of union on all levels, or with oneself, with the spirit of oneself, with the spirit of that which we are connected to through our journey, and together with those who will come to witness, and they will know, and their knowing will enable us to actually be of service to them. Okay. So it is the only revelation in all human history to a community, to a nation of people. All other revelations are personal. To a prophet, that becomes an establisher of religion, all of them ever, never, for all people that were there. And Zohar will say that not only this generation or the generation of the desert was present there, but all generations of that will keep and will actually choose to be part of this revelation, to draw it to to draw it into the life of all human race, were present at the giving of Torah. So you see that what it actually gathered, it is said later in Dvarim that everyone who were there, who were in the corporal dressing there, and all of them who were not there were present in giving Torah. And therefore, one who wished to come into studying of Torah, true Torah, meaning studying Kabbalah, should feel itself every day when he is studying as though he's standing at the actual occurrence of and revelation of giving the Torah. It's a call. It's a sound that reverberate throughout all spirits. And part of what we actually are called to be is to work into ourselves, to allow our spirit to reform in such a way that it can hear it, and therefore by proxy we could hear it. Our existence could hear it. But we can hear it only through the spirit. Okay. It's a revelation at the level of the spirit. This is why it is possible to say that everyone who will ever take upon himself to be part of this Torah was standing there at that time. Yeah? It's like it was joining all past, present, and future. Okay? And it's all actually gathering into the word Anochi. Okay. Which is almost impossible to translate into English. It's not the I. Okay, but let's see. Let's see how it starts. I'm reading from from a portion, chapter 18 in Exodus, in Shmot, chapter 18, verse 1. It's the beginning. When it's called Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moses' father-in-law, heard of all that God has done for Moses and for Israel, his people, and that the Lord has brought Israel out of Egypt. So we have to see that there are a few things. Okay, it's a good opportunity to actually be with your feeling that we need a new house. So, and hopefully we're getting there. So how you could help in bringing it into actuality, I will hopefully speak with you soon. But you see, look at the specification. Yeah, he's a priest of Midian, meaning Abrahamic priest, which continue what we call the search for the expression of the one in all religious system. Okay, is Moses' father-in-law, which to Yitro mind, basically Moses is his student. He taught him how to be a shepherd and where to go to meet actually a revelation, which is the mountain of God, which is called Horeb or Sinai. From his part, he just now confirms that Moses had actually chosen an identity, because when he fled to Midian, the daughter of Jethro are describing Moses as an Egyptian man. Okay? But now he could, what actually Jethro is saying, well, I'm very happy you have chosen the right identity. Yeah, because I heard all that God has done for Moses and for Israel, his people. Meaning now he's sure that he is not an Egyptian. But he actually confirms the identity of Moses as being Israel, that which is real in his eyes as well. And the fact that that God of Israel could actually defeat the most powerful empire of all times, actually, which is Egypt. It has been a rumor throughout the world that something has broken Egypt. Something has broken the chain of history. Now, not only that this revelation on the Mount of Sinai is actually the first and the only revelation in front of the human race, as Israel its representative. It's the only, it's beginning, one can say. It's the first intervention of the Creator in history. It means when the commandment starts, is that God is present in human history. He's present by breaking a power of empires and raising and freeing and reforming a group of spirit to actually dominate human history. It says no less. Well, it seems that most of the world actually, to this degree or the other, accepted this revelation to be important because it is still, the Bible is the bestseller of the world. Okay, it means it keeps the interest of human race till today, because it says something very optimistic, basically, that the Creator is interested in us. He is so interested in us that he is actually going to intervene in the history of the human race. And it starts here. Okay. It starts here, and we could see that first he would like to say that he's the God of history. And then he would say, of course, if I'm the God of history, I'm as well the Creator. Because only the one who can intervene in justice, in history, should be the one who has the intention of the Creator. And being a Creator reveals itself only when we get the commandment of keeping the Sabbath. Yeah. So let's go to and God spake all these words, saying, I'm reading chapter 20, verse 1. So the only thing to translate Anochi is in English is I am. It's like part of I am that I am, the revelation to Moses, but in Hebrew it has an additional letter on the I. It's not only I am, okay? It's as well I am the one that has the will. because it says that the Creator, or before even we know it's the Creator, that which reveals itself now has will. Yeah. And that is what is common between the Creator or the God that is being revealed now and humans. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. It means that he's saying it, or it is being said. It's not he and not she. It's that which says that is actually declaring a unification. That which is being revealed to you now in time, that which created time with its will, is the same one that took you out of Egypt. It's not clear. Why is it not clear? Because he's going to give them Torah, which was not in the plan of going out of Egypt. And the plan of going out of Egypt was to get back to the promised land, that which was promised to the forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. No mention of Torah ever. This is the first time that they, Israel, actually hear about Torah. They knew that they are going to a specific place. Let's say they're going to Atzilut. They are going to mount to a place in which they will be in union with that which is living there, which is part of the will of God, and they will grow into it. It was clear that it has to do with some sovereignty on a land that has in it the qualities of the forefathers. Okay. But there was no mentioning of Torah so far up to this point. Moses did not speak about it. So the revelation of it's a new revelation. It means that the human race is in such a state that instead of being given the Torah in the land of Israel, they need the Torah now, because the Torah is that light which is able to reform the person and the spirit that actually he hosts in such a way that it will not go completely out of context or completely out of the plan of creation. So he's saying to them that the same power that promised the forefathers and actually took them and liberated and will liberate all spirits by all nations, by all wills, by all the will to receive together, which will witness it. It will free the spirit from them in order that it will lead them. This is the will that is going to give them this light now, in order for them to be able actually to reach the stage or the level of being able to be in service. Okay. So it is said that in all the appearances that you have been witnessed so far, it's not the work of Moses, it's not the work of Pharaoh, it's not the work of Trump, it's not the work of Tehran, it's the work of something else that has a unity of intention, and is part of the unity is the revelation in time and in commandments that actually combine the three aspects of man, woman, or any human and their God, man and its surrounding, humanity, and man and himself. The self, or the human, and the the relationship between the human and itself. And we can see it how the Ten Commandments starts with the one and then the nine. The one is the unity of everything, of every event in time and before time. Okay, so one can say that the revelation actually gets to um, gets to the fact of being the creator is when at verse 8 he's saying, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. Okay. So we can see that in the Sabbath, all three are incorporated. Yeah, the Creator, which appears in time, in human history, which is now giving us in time a repetitive reminder that the Sabbath is His, because this is the day He concluded to prepare everything for us. And this is the seventh day is the picture of the world to come, or the end of Reformation. Okay. So it's to do with our relationship, or our attitude, or our consciousness to the Creator, the Sabbath. And the Sabbath is to do as well with our attitude to our spirit, and as well it has to do to everything between us and the other. It doesn't matter if it's a family, a servant, or or anyone that we host. So you could see that in the Sabbath, all the three, between God and human, or human and God, human and others, and human and himself. But it needs first the revelation and the appearance and the presence. And the presence say that everything in the cycle of time and beyond time is being planned, so we could be in partnership throughout an actual history and throughout the spiritual journey of each person, through Torah and through what is the gathering of what is called Israel, which is a description of a job, not a description of something that you are born with. You have to fight for this quality of firstborn, which is to work towards what is real, not to work in relation to reality, but to work in relation to actuality. Okay.